Listen, as I said at the beginning, this is your job. It is our duty to stand up against oppression, because if we don't stand for change now, this could be you next. And it's proved evident that here in the United Kingdom that there is people who have also been treated unjustly. We've seen the incident in Manchester yesterday. We've seen the incident in London a couple of weeks ago. And more importantly, here in Birmingham, when the uni students came forward and they were proactive and they want to take action against the university for being complicit in a genocide, bailiffs came forward and removed them off the property despite weeks and weeks of effort.
I'm here today to talk about the fact that this struggle is linked with every other struggle that we have seen over the past few months. I've got a leaflet here for a protest happening on Sunday in solidarity with the massive student movement in Bangladesh that dwarfed the one here in the UK. It is a massive movement that has seen the killing of students. These brave students going out onto the street fighting against the stupid quota regime that was being brought in, that these students stood up against, as we did at UAB. But the message of these movements isn't just that we can go out there and we can try to make change, but that we actually can make change, but that we have to go further than we have at the minute. At the minute, the students have gone out there, the students have said they're angry, but they have not connected this at the side of the universities. They've not spread this to everyone else in society that agrees that what is going on in Bangladesh is the way forward, that agrees that the situation in Gaza is horrific and must stop. These movements must spread outside of universities and outside of these small bubbles. They must take on a mass character. We saw in the last couple of days this new Labour government that has come to power vote against abolishing the two-child benefit cap, and then shamelessly banning 7 of their MPs for wanting to stand up against that, like all of us do. But they do not care about us. They care more about starving children. And that is why we need to bring a mass character to this movement right here, that is starting with just a handful of us, that started on university campuses with handfuls. And it grew from that. It was the same in Bangladesh. It started small and it grew. It was the same recently in Kenya. This movement started small and it grew. And that is how we challenge these politicians who do not care about everyday people like us, about working people. We challenge them in our thousands and in our millions. Because in our thousands, in our millions, we are all Palestinians! Free, free! Free, free! Free, free!
The Palestinians have been steadfast for the last 10 months now almost, and various other people in the region are also supporting them. They've got support from Lebanon, they've got support from Yemen, and I think that's what we are celebrating today here. But I think there is a lot to be done in this country. Yesterday, there was a lobby of the parliament, and because of new Labour MPs have been elected and new other MPs have been elected as well, the independent ones, who are going to be standing up for Palestine in Parliament, we hope. So I think West Midlands Palestine Solidarity Campaign, in conjunction with the Palestine Solidarity Campaign, decided to go and lobby our MPs and to tell them what we need to do, what we need them to do to bring about peace in Palestine and to end the occupation and the bombing and the killings that we are watching on our television. So I think there were several asks we made of them. One was to call for an immediate and permanent ceasefire in Gaza. The second call was the International Criminal Court and the ICJ are in the process of issuing warrant for the arrest of Netanyahu and his defense minister. What the Tory government before leaving office did was raise objections with the ICJ, denying that ICJ has got jurisdiction over Palestine. We are asking our MPs to demand that the new administration revokes that objection and allows the warrant for arrest of Netanyahu and his defense minister be issued. So that was the second thing. The third thing we want to do It's not sufficient just to call for peace. It's not sufficient just to call for the end of bombing. It must be followed up by action. If you want this bombing to stop, you cannot rely on Netanyahu. You got to make sure you stop supplying him the arms. Britain supplies parts for the F-35 that are used to bomb Gaza. 15% of the parts that are needed for building an F-35 comes from Britain. We are asking Britain, according to its own law, that it should stop supplying arms to Israel. We want a permanent end of the arms trade with Israel. That was the third ask we are asking them to do. And ultimately, we want them to call for an immediate ceasefire. We want them, if these criminals, people like Netanyahu and his defense secretary, comes to this country, they should be arrested, as it is obligatory on Britain to do it. Okay? Arrest warrants actually have been issued for Israeli politicians in the past. And in fact, the new Attorney General was involved in those warrants. So we are hoping that the new British government would do the same. So I think you need to put more pressure on your MPs. If you haven't written to your MPs, please write to them.